Hi, my name is Paige Sanders and I attend University of Missouri, and today I want to talk about system-induced trauma and what we can do as social workers to help reduce the trauma that's induced by our system with children in care. So according to Fostering Court Improvements in Boone County, in April 2019 to 2020, there were a total of 155 removals to foster care in Boone County. That is an actual monthly average of 12.9 children who are put into foster care in Boone County. Children who are in care currently get only 1 to 2 hours a week due to current resources in the county and the lack of agencies who could provide more of an intensive visitation. I'm providing a chart here that shows what I had provided earlier with Boone County children removed to foster care during April 2019 through March of 2020. I will allow everyone just a few minutes to take a look at those numbers so you can gain a better understanding of what barriers there are regarding this. As you can read, there are many different types of removals, from inability to cope, inadequate housing, incarnation, child behavior, abandonment, sexual abuse, and so on. While those are all trauma, there is also a trauma that occurs when children are taken out of the home. That is called the system-induced trauma. Children being removed from biological parents creates a system-induced trauma for both children removed and for the parents. One way to reduce the impact of system-induced trauma is for parents to maintain a bond with their children throughout the process. This is where I would like to discuss the bonding and attachment and what we can do to decrease this trauma. So bonding and attachment are important to reduce the system-induced trauma that families are facing in Boone County. The family is the fundamental resource for child nurturance and bonding. Parents need to be supported in their efforts to care for their children. When working with parents, 3 things need to be priorities. The first one is to increase caregivers' protective factors. The second step is to focus on family functioning resilience. And the third step is to focus on professional, personal, social supports for the family, in addition to increasing time with the children to maintain bond. Now, how are we able to do that here in Boone County? As of right now, there are currently 4 different agencies that have alternative care caseworkers in Boone County. That's, of course, Boone County Children's Division, Great Circle, Cornerstone of Care, and Every Child's Hope. According to Angie Bizzoni, who is a Boone County JO, the average amount of supervised visits each agency gives parents and children who are in care is only 1 to 2 hours a week. This is due to the lack of resources and the lack of agencies that could provide more of an intensive amount of supervised visits. Now, how do we, as social workers, work towards this common goal of reducing system-induced trauma? First, we must look at the current resources that are in Boone County. Of course, biological parents is one resource, child welfare agencies, and local legislators. It is important to reduce this trauma because trauma affects not only the parents, but the child's well-being as well. Working with biological parents to reduce system-induced trauma is one of the first steps we must look at. The family is the fundamental resource. Increasing the bond between biological parents and children, and a social worker can link the parents with resources. The different resources that a social worker may link them to is treating their mental health and or substance use, which led to the removal in the first place, and to also provide education that will increase their protective capacities while teaching them nurturing skills. Agencies play a key role in reducing the impact of induced trauma. The first step to help with this is to develop an executive team. Now, who would be in this executive team? There would be 3 different areas which one can pull members from. The first one is leaders in the child welfare community. The second is foster parents who work with not only the parents of the children in care, but of course the children who are in care, and the supervisors from child welfare agencies in Boone County. Now, after we form this executive team, what would it do? So the purpose of the executive team would be to educate the agencies, provide a training presentation that would increase their knowledge on system-induced trauma and how to reduce it. We would then collect data from agencies and review the data with the executive team. The data collected will be time in care, resources given to families, and the reentry children who go back into care after being reunified. The data collection for agencies will be utilized to decide what agency could be subcontracted with Boone County Courts, funded by Children's Service Fund to provide an intense supervision program. This contract will provide more intense visits for the biological parents and the children. This agency will also provide additional parenting education to increase their nurturing skills as well as increasing their protective capacities, all while observing them utilize these skills through observed supervised visits. Part of the education that will be provided, there will be an AAPI pre-test and post-test. The AAPI 2.1 is like its predecessor, the AAPI, and it's validated and reliable inventory used to assess parenting attitudes. Now, the responses to the AAPI provide an index of risk in 5 specific parenting and child rearing behaviors. This will help gain knowledge by doing a pre-test and post-test to see how much knowledge the client has before the class starts and then after the class starts. So the beginning of the class will be the pre-test, and that will be the baseline on where we would go from. Now, our next step is, of course, to look at local legislators. This will be a key help to help us understand what policies are out there currently and what we can do. So what can local legislators do? First, they can share what current policies that are out there and what we can do to support or add additional policies. Knowing the current policies are and the impact or the lack of impact would be beneficial to know regarding reducing the impact of system-induced trauma. Now, what is important for the local legislators to know when we contact them? Understanding the current barriers to reunification and the lack of supervised visits between biological parents and their children, while understanding the trauma it induces. Now, one of the local legislators that I wanted to reach out to, which I did, was Caleb Browden. He represents the 19th Senate District, which includes Boone County, and he also serves as the Missouri Senate Majority Leader. Lastly, we want to think about what we can do as social workers in addition to what the information I provided. Of course, we can always assist in maintaining the bond and attachment between bio parents and children in care, which in return will reduce trauma for both bio parents and children. We can do this by advocating for the parents, by writing letters to the local legislators. We can also provide local resources to families with children in care that will assist them increasing their protective capacities while teaching them nurturing skills. We would do this by reaching out to local vendors, agencies to see what is available to help this family maintain those nurturing skills and increasing the protective capacities. Next is to assist with reducing the impact of system-induced trauma, children in care. Reach out to legislators, policymakers to see what policies are out there regarding child welfare. Next is to provide an extensive array of purchase services from local and private contractors to help provide services to families who have children in care. This would be for drug and alcohol assessments, from therapy to psychological evaluations, and so on. And lastly is to always continue to assist policymakers in continuing with the change. The last page is the references that helped me gain a lot of the knowledge that I shared with you guys today. I appreciate your time in watching this, and I look forward to continuing advocating for children who are in care and maintaining that bond and attachment with their parents. Thank you.